Welcome to My English Diary. Today we've got a seriously fantastic explainer lined up for you. We're going to tackle a problem that literally every single language learner and honestly even native speakers faces all the time. We're looking at a proven, incredibly powerful technique to totally end the frustration of hitting unknown words while you're reading or speaking. By the end of this explainer, you're going to learn how to just toss that dictionary aside and become a true word detective.
Picture this. You're happily reading a brilliant new book, or maybe you're deep in this great flowing conversation in English. Everything's going perfectly, you're totally engaged, and then bam, a word just completely stops you in your tracks. You have absolutely no earthly idea what it means. So what do? Because let's face it, stopping to check your phone or a dictionary every single time you hit a roadblock, it's impossible. It completely ruins the momentum of a good book, and it totally kills a natural conversation. You have to guess.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Because guessing? It's actually way harder than most folks realize. Research shows that learners who pass the Cambridge C1 exam, which is a very advanced level, know somewhere between 3,750 and 4,500 words. That means they know about 95% of the words in a typical English fiction novel. Sounds amazing, right? But what about that remaining 5%? Well, that translates to about 15 unknown words on every single page. Just think about that for a second. Even a highly advanced learner is hitting a mystery word 15 times per page.
And honestly, here's the really frustrating reality about trying to guess those 15 words. Studies show that your typical learner only guesses the correct meaning about 25% of the time. That means you're basically guessing wrong 3 out of 4 times. Yikes. But we are going to completely flip those odds today. The simple technique we're unpacking in this explainer takes maybe 15 minutes to learn, and it can rocket your guessing success rate straight up to 80%. You're going to go from being wrong 3 out of 4 times to being right 3 out of 4 times. A real game changer.
So here's our blueprint for today's explainer. First, we'll look at the unknown word problem. Then, Step 1, parts of speech. Step 2, helper vocabulary. Step 3, guess and check. And finally, we'll wrap up with the word detective mindset.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the unknown word problem, and knowing exactly when to stop and guess.
Before we even get into the actual technique, we gotta lay down one absolutely crucial ground rule. Because there are potentially 15 unknown words on any given page, you simply cannot stop and try to play detective for every single one of them. You'd be totally exhausted in 5 minutes. The rule here is triage. You must only focus your time and energy on the unknown words that are actively causing a communication problem. If a word is literally blocking your understanding of the whole sentence, stop and investigate. If you can kind of get the main idea without it, just keep going.
But when you do hit a word that absolutely demands your attention, well, here is your secret weapon. It's a proven, super simple 3-step framework. Step 1, part of speech. Step 2, helper vocabulary. Step 3, guess and check. Let's break down exactly how to execute each of these.
Which brings us to Section 2, Step 1, parts of speech and hunting for those grammar clues.
So why start here? Well, it turns out that getting the part of speech wrong is the #1 reason people completely mess up their guesses. If you think a noun is a verb, you're already miles off track. So how do we spot them quickly? Look for clues. Always try to find the verb first to see the action. Ask yourself, what's actually happening here? Next, hunt down the nouns, the people, the places, the things. Your biggest clues for finding nouns are those tiny words sitting right in front of them, an, or the. Also, keep an eye out for capital letters, because those are dead giveaways for proper nouns. And adjectives? They'll usually be hanging out right before those nouns, describing them.
Now, I absolutely love this insight from the source material. A veteran English teacher of 15 years dropped this amazing pro tip. If you look at a word and you have absolutely zero idea what part of speech it is, it's probably an adverb. Adverbs usually give details about how, when, or where, and they tend to sit right immediately before or after the other words. So when in doubt, guessing it's an adverb is a pretty safe bet.
And this brilliantly illustrates a major trap that so many of us fall right into. We're taught from day one to use word endings to find the part of speech. We spot an ed or an ing and immediately think, gotcha, that's a verb. But English is sneaky, and word endings can be incredibly tricky. Loads of adjectives also end in ed and ing. Because of this, relying just on endings can totally mislead you. The absolute ultimate key to identifying parts of speech in English is actually word order. Always look at where the word sits in the sentence, not just how it ends.
Moving right along to Section 3, Step 2, helper vocabulary and using context clues.
Okay, so once you've nailed down the part of speech, you've got some really vital info. Now it's time to check out the neighborhood. It's like a giant puzzle. And here is a massive relief for a lot of you. You do not need to perfectly translate the unknown word. You don't have to find a perfect direct synonym in your native language. You just need to look at the context clues, the surrounding words, to get a general vibe. For instance, if the words hanging around your mystery word are sunny, laughing, smiling, and happy, well, you instantly know the unknown word has a positive feeling. And honestly, often just sensing that positive or negative vibe is more than enough to keep a fluid conversation going without missing a beat.
So the really crucial point here is how these tiny little grammar words act like massive neon road signs. Take this example from our source material about a dog passing away. If a sentence uses the word because, which signals cause and effect, like because his dog died, he was blank, we can confidently expect that missing word to be something deeply negative, right? Like sad or devastated. But if the sentence uses a word indicating contrast, like although, as in although his dog died, he felt blank, suddenly the whole trajectory flips. The grammar word tells us the mystery word is actually likely positive, maybe calm or relieved. Those tiny little grammar words literally dictate the entire meaning.
Next up is Section 4, Step 3, Guess and Check, to verify your meaning.
Now, what's really interesting here is that this is the exact step that separates just barely surviving an awkward conversation from genuinely acquiring new language. What's so great about this is how easily you can apply it in real life. If you're reading, obviously, you can check your educated guess in a dictionary later. But what if you're actually talking to someone? You can't just pause and pull out a book. Instead, you use really simple phrases to get confirmation directly from the person you're chatting with. You can just ask, does blank mean happy? Or, you mean blank, kind of like happy? If you actively make a guess, check that guess, and then use the word in context, your brain is way more likely to lock that word in for the future.
And that leads us to our final section, Section 5, the word detective mindset and learning from context.
Let's be real for a second about how language acquisition actually works. We need to normalize the fact that this three-step process, this is exactly how human beings actually learn language out in the wild. Even native speakers learn the vast majority of their vocabulary this exact way, through context. Deliberate study has its place for sure, but honestly, nobody has the time or the sanity to sit there and memorize thousands upon thousands of flashcards. Learning in context isn't just more efficient. Research shows it makes you way more capable of actually using the words you've learned in real life.
Of course, like literally any other skill out there, this takes repetition. There are no magic shortcuts in language learning, folks. Your guessing skills are only going to level up with practice. The source material for today's explainer, Kanguru English, actually offers a free word detective test over on their website. It's a highly recommended resource where you can practice these 3 steps we talked about and get instant feedback on exactly where your guessing skills might need a little tweaking.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought today. The next time you hit a roadblock on the page or in a chat with a friend, what are you going to do? Are you going to let that unknown word stop you dead in your tracks so you can go digging through a dictionary? Or will you look at the part of speech, scan for that helper vocabulary, check your guess, and step up as a true word detective? The choice is entirely yours. And hey, you've got the tools now. Until next time, my English diary,